Good evening, everyone. My name is Chris Cavedon, and I want to welcome you to this call. I know you all have a lot of things that you could be doing. I appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedules to listen to what we have. It's critical when you get started in a new venture, and specifically a business like what we have here, that you understand some fundamental principles, and that's what we're going to go over this evening. The first thing I want to talk about is how to use the gel properly. I learned the hard way. You know, when you're looking at this, when you get this bottle, it's 3.5 ounces, and I thought more is better. And the reality is, as you can see on the bottle, it says use one pump twice a day, or for the best results, you want to use 2 pumps twice a day. Now, very important for us all to determine and clearly understand what is a pump. One of these bottles, you need to get the most efficient use from this gel, you want to be going through what's called a loading phase. The loading phase is, many of us on this line, we're in our 40s or 50s, and our HGH levels in our body are greatly diminished. So therefore, for the first 60 or 90 days, we want to load this gel into our bloodstream. So we're going to do 2 pumps twice a day, morning and night. For those that don't know, that this is the only transdermal, over-the-counter HGH gel with a National Drug Code number, an NDC number issued by the FDA in existence. Now, the reality is this transdermal application gets into our bloodstream rapidly, but it's out of our bloodstream in 4 to 6 hours. That's why we need to do it 2 times a day. So if you look at the bottle that you have, or if you don't have it in front of you when you do see it soon enough, you're going to pump roughly half of what a pump size is. Here's what we're looking for. We're looking for one of these bottles to last you for 20 days, or for 4 weeks. Remember, the protocol is going to be 5 days on, 2 days off. So you're looking for a 4-week cycle in what we're calling a loading phase. Once again, that loading phase will be the first 60 to 90 days. I recommend every single person you have on this gel do that. Why? We want to make sure people have product experiences. Everyone's body chemistry is different. Some people, it might take the full 90 days. Some people might feel something very, very rapidly. But we need to set expectations appropriately. So if everybody, whether you're talking about a customer or you're talking about someone who's going to get involved in the business, we want them to go through a similar protocol. Once again, loading, and then after that loading phase, you go into a maintenance phase. Maintenance is simply 1 pump twice a day. Now, in doing so, I've had some people who reached out to me, and even myself. They said, Chris, I went through one of those bottles so quickly. It's simply because they were doing too much of a pump. Now remember, we're in what's called a pre-launch phase right now. We're going to have our official grand opening in roughly 6 or so months. At that point, we will have a real measured pump, very much like a medical measuring device at that point. So right now, we need to use some common sense to know that this 3.5-ounce bottle, if you're going to load like I suggest, needs to last you 4 weeks. So you want to use a volume size that will last you for 20 applications or 4 weeks. If you're not going to do a loading phase and someone says, hey, I just want to do it the way it's on the bottle, now you're looking for that to last you 8 weeks or 40 applications. Now, because I'm going to emphasize it again, I think that loading phase is so important. Now you see the necessity of someone who gets involved and gets 1 bottle, they're going to run out of the product. And the key thing to this HGH gel is consistency. If you have any gaps in you getting this into your bloodstream, you're going to quickly go back to where you were. So the key component here, if I'm talking to someone who potentially will be a customer or a distributor, I am encouraging them that the best price point for them to take advantage of is the $499 pack that has 4 bottles, bringing each bottle down to $125, or the $8.99 pack that has 8 bottles, bringing the cost down to $112 per bottle. Let's face it, if you're going to participate in an HGH protocol like we're suggesting, you need to see it through the whole 6-month window. And in doing so, the best cost implication is the latter one that I said. Getting 1 bottle for $1.99 is actually 45% more expensive than the second way, and a little, even a greater discount if you get it the third way. So now that we've elaborated on application, let's talk about a few more things. As of last checking, there were 446 people who had signed into this business and were participating as active distributors. I want you to know what that means. I live in a small rural town in northern Rhode Island, and when this is said and done, there'll be more than 446 people in my town, not let alone across the nation. We happen to be moving into position at a time that's really, really special. Now, I get it. A lot of people don't understand this. They don't understand the competitive advantage. What's in it for me? What do I need to do? That's why we're having this call. If you happen to be someone, or you sign someone up in your team and they grabbed the spot because they just didn't want to miss it, then I'm not talking about them. I get it that makes a lot of sense for a lot of people. But if you're on this call, chances are you see the upside here. You see that this has a viral component to it, that in my opinion at some point in the future there's going to be multi-millions of people that get involved. So that number is going to go from 446 to, let's say, 4 million. So how many of those people are going to be in your team? How many people are you going to help get started? Now, how do you do that? You have to do that by certain protocols. And one of the protocols that we'll talk about is just gaining some knowledge. There's a lot of different information about HGH, about our particular product, about its development, that it's important for you to learn. And you should learn that in your first week. You should learn that in your own convenience. So I want to give you one number and one website that you should go to and review this information. The first telephone number, in case you happen to be someone that is auditory and you like to learn in that manner, please jot down this number. It is 401-234-1950. That is a 46-minute training call. It's a call that Alex and Joe Giuliano, the master distributor, did. Great information in there, great answers to some questions that I'm sure you have, and questions that some people you might know also have. And then there is a website. The website is hghgelqa.com. That website was set up by my buddy and our upline, Mike Amato. That is a 35-minute overview of the same call that I just referenced, but it has 7 minutes of testimonials that I think will give you some quiet confidence that this product is extraordinary. And it truly is. Here's the bottom line. This isn't a question of if it's going to work for you. This product's going to work for everybody. The reality is, when is it going to work? With our individual body chemistries, as I said, some people might feel an impact immediately or in a few days, and some might feel it in a few months. But I've had several people reach out to me, and they seem to get pigeonholed in their approach on who they think this HGH product is best suited for. Let me explain to you. We are looking for a mass market appeal. You're not looking for niche markets, and here's what I mean by that. I had a buddy contact me today and say, hey, Chris, I'm reaching out to all these personal trainers and this bodybuilder and this, that, and I had to stop him, and I said, let me be perfectly clear who this product is for. Every single person that shows signs of aging. Let me repeat that. Every single person that shows signs of aging should be on our product. Vanity sells. The reality is, if you can turn back the clock with science, with increasing your HGH levels, everyone will be interested in that. So it's my humble opinion that I think the biggest demographics that we will have in this company will be women. And I'd like to share with you a personal story about my girlfriend. Some of you know, a lot of friends are on the call right now, and many of you know Laura, and as she's been on this gel, her eyebrows have been filling in. Her eyelashes are growing in thicker than they ever have been. That's very, very encouraging, for women when they're in their late 40s or 50s. We all have things that we're sensitive to. There are so many issues that that men have a sensitivity to, that when you can turn back the clock and it makes a psychological impact for all of us. And that's why, when someone said to me, well, who should I be talking to? Everyone over 35 and everyone over 30, anyone who's entrepreneurial, anyone who's money motivated, anyone who wants to get ahead of a trend, anyone who can realize something has the potential to go viral. And if I position myself, I can take over markets. If we were talking about traditional franchising and you wanted to take over Boston, or you wanted to take over Miami, or you wanted to take over Chicago, San Diego, Dallas, it would cost you a fortune. To get into those particular markets where there's great population density would be a premium. Right now, the 446 people and the few people that are listening to my voice tonight, you have the ability to go out and say, I'm targeting my efforts in that market, in that direction. So of the people that have come in here and grabbed a position and said, let me see how this works out, I'm happy that they grabbed a position, but here's what's going to happen. They're going to wake up in 6 months, and in 6 months there's going to be 25,000 people in here. And then from the 25,000 it's going to go to 250,000, and then it's going to millions. Something in networking, and I'm speaking from experience, folks. This is not, I'm not a novice here. I've got decades and decades of experience, and I've learned the hard way. So I can tell you with certainty, with no hesitation or reservations, that when you have an opportunity where there's a competitive advantage, the competitive advantage is we are the only company in the HGH gel category that has been issued an NDC number by the FDA. It's really, really powerful. What would I encourage you to do? I'd encourage you to prioritize your time. I know we're all busy. That falls into the so what category. If we all want more out of life, we've got to do something to get more. So say I can do 3 hours a week, 5 hours a week, whatever. But you have to put time in at a point when you get the most return on your effort. So of 400-plus people doing this across the nation, there's only a few that are taking it serious. There are only a few that are willing to get on a call at 7 o'clock on a Tuesday evening. Once again, I tip my hats to you people. So I would encourage you to learn how to prospect. How do you convey this to people in a meaningful way? Every single one of us, being of the same species, we have a certain thing in us. And here's what it is. We never want to miss out on the next big thing. A fear of loss component expressed eloquently and with confidence gets everyone's attention. So what you should be doing, you should be sending this video to some people, the 2-minute video or the 3-minute video, whichever you prefer. And you need to say, I'm blown away by what I'm looking at with the upside of this company. I think it's got a viral component. I think what could happen in the near future here could be extraordinary. That's why I'm finding time in my schedule to introduce this to you, and I want to introduce it to a few other people. Why? I want to take over markets. I want to be a dominant player in this that can capitalize on the most robust markets across the country. So here's what you need to have people do. They need to watch the video in its entirety. They need to understand the science of HGH. That is on our websites. If you go to our website and you read science, and I expect every single person on this call should have already done this, you read the science section, understand that HGH and research on HGH has been around for 5 decades. 5+ decades. There's loads of anti-aging clinics across the country that are selling injections for a low end of $1,500, and in some cases, depending on the IUs that you get, as much as $5,000 a month. We're talking about an auto ship program of $149 a month for a microdose. Why a microdose? So there's no side effects. Injectables are painful for some people, one. You have to drive somewhere, and it's well documented that injectable HGH programs have too much hormone floating around in your body, and there's all sorts of side effects that can happen. This microdosing scenario that we're able to represent and bring to the market is safe. Alex has brought this product initially to the market almost 14 years ago. He's had thousands of people that have been on this product, tens of thousands of people that have been on this product with zero side effects. That's something we can all be proud of. We're not guinea pigs here. So you want to be able to convey this to people, get them to look at the science, and get them to look at the expected benefits. If you show them the 3-minute video, they'll see it in that video. I tend to like to show them the 2-minute video. I want them to read the science on our website. I want them to read. Many people are visually motivated in a compelling way, and when you click on month 1, month 2, month 3, and go right up to month 6, and you see what the expectation level is if you use this consistently and properly. Most people instantly agree that I'm going to be on this for 6 months. So if they're going to be on this for 6 months, now when you're talking to them about getting involved, it's a lot more likely for you to say, well, why don't you just buy your 6 months up front? Buy the 8-bottle package at $8.99 because you're going to load for the first 60 or 90 days, let's say 60 days. So if that's the case, you're going to use all 8 bottles. What I don't want to see is people get in, run out of the product, wait for the product to come back in, because whatever results they're getting, it's going to diminish them. That's not the right way to do it. So let's focus on the comp plan a little right now. I'll give you some highlights. Everyone who I want you to go to your back office, review the resource section that talks about comp plan. Make sure you understand it. Anytime someone brings up the word binary, every day I must have numerous people who say the same exact thing. And I know I said the same thing years ago when I got involved. Oh, I want to be in a power leg, or I want to be. Listen, when there's 400 people in a company, there is no power leg. There's no power leg that exists. A power leg is created. And every single one of us, I'm telling you, if you're on this call, you're on a power leg because you're in my group somewhere and we're going to blow it up. But a power leg is created when you get 6 to 12 people that commit to do the same thing at the same time. I'm asking you, have any of you played sports? Have any of you been competitive? And if you've been competitive on a hockey team, a football team, and I'm talking more of a physical contact sport, because in a physical contact sport, you're dependent on the person on the side of you doing what they're supposed to do, doing their job. So right now, when there's 400 people in this company and probably 80% don't know what they're in, so there's only 20% that kind of get the big picture. If you're one of them, which I think you are because you're on the call, now you just need to have a few other people that get the same picture and say, okay, what's the situation here? We're in a really nice comp plan. I think it's a tremendous comp plan, and we have to think in terms of what is the promotion level I have to get to that I can benefit the most. It's called coach. It's 2 levels up, and when you get to coach, that's really where the ante to the game comes. That's when you get a $700 car bonus. That's when you get matching check bonuses of 15% on your first level, 10% on your second level. There's additional coaching bonuses. So how do you get to coach? You get to coach by putting 3 on the left and putting 3 on the right. If you've ever been in a binary before, chances are here's what you did. You put 1 in your power leg and you put everything else in your lesser leg. So whoever was on what you thought was the power leg, they kind of they were somewhat abandoned. Over here, I love the fact that every single person who's going to do this is going to put 3 on the left and put 3 on the right. Back to my supposition about building a power leg is 6 to 12 people at the same time doing the same thing. You get 6 to 12 people realizing, all right, I've got to get to coach. My goal is I'm going to get to coach in the next 4 weeks, 5 weeks, 6 weeks, 3 weeks. Whatever your time frame is. Talk it over with your personally sponsored people. Commit to them. Have them commit to you. And what I mean by that is every single week, you should be getting customers. Everyone I know that's in my age demographic should be on this gel. Simply put, that's exactly how it should be. That my friends, the people that I know should be on this gel. So when you sign someone into this business, you want to work with everyone who is helping you. You want to work with your sponsor. You want to work with your upline. And you all want to make a committed effort that, okay, this week we will have this level of productivity. Why? Because windows of opportunity like this close rapidly, and here's what I mean. Between now and when we have our official launch, let's assume everything that I just said is accurate. With my experience, most people realize when I say certain things about the industry, I'm dead on. So between now, no one in the company, and we go live, and there's tens of thousands in the company, if you set a foundation, if you work harder than you think you're capable of, and I'm just talking about in the time that you're willing to allocate. If you say, I've got 5 hours, then just do the 5 hours. Shut off the phone, do anything, don't be distracted, and get production. When I say get production, have your list of who's going to be a customer, have what you're going to do in getting the video message to people, having people read the science, having people understand the expected benefits, then get them on a 3-way phone call with me. Okay? You do that simple process. It's out of your hands. You're not trying to convince anybody. You have them talk to me. 9 out of 10 people will get involved. Bottom line. So for now, we'll focus on that particular protocol. There's videos that are coming out from the company. I talked to Chip and Troy and Randy and several people a few days back, and was planning on making my own video, which I still am, and I would like anybody on this, anybody who wants to do this, to be able to participate. I'd like little testimonials, but I don't want to come out with a video now that I know the company is just a short time away from coming out from a few things. I want to see what they come out with, but we will do it in the very, very near future. Once again, want to explain, go to this comp plan, review everything in the comp plan so that you understand it. The key is first getting qualified, which is putting 1 on the left and putting 1 on the right. Then from there, the next level up coordinator is 2 on the left, 2 on the right. And then the next level up from there is 3 on the left, 3 on the right. Coordinator is 5,000 in rolling volume over a 5-week period. Coach is 10,000 in rolling volume over a 5-week period. Here's what I suggest you do. You contact your sponsor, you contact me, and you say, you know what, I want to be a coach. I want to be a coach in the next 4 weeks. If you're telling me I get a $700 car payment, and let's talk about car payments. I'm not the biggest fan of car payments. I'm not interested in anyone being put in an uncomfortable situation. So our car program is awesome. If you don't drive a luxury or premium car, if you don't have a car that's 3 or 4 years or newer, you don't have to go out and get a brand new car. The Visalises of the world and the companies of the world that hurt people by getting a new car and then they turn them back in 6 months, you get half of the car payment when you get to coach in every month that you qualify to being coach. So if we're building and we get you to coach and you have a car that qualifies, that's great. You'll get $700. If you don't, no need for you to even entertain thinking about getting, making an expense until your business is established and you have consistent volume, so you get half that payment. But you get to the level of coach and the bonuses that open up, the matching, check match that opens up, the accelerated team commissions that you earn. Most people who have been in networking or been in a binary know that you normally get 10% in your lesser leg. Once you get to coach, that gets increased by 50%. Now you earn 15% in your lesser leg. So in conclusion for our call tonight, the important level for you to get to is coach. And to get to coach and have $10,000 in your lesser leg, you're not going to do it if everyone's coming in for a $199 gel. That's not the appropriate way for people to come in if they're planning on getting results from the gel. Remember, loading, everything that we talked about. Hope that I emphasize that you should be focusing on the middle or the top gel packages. That is the best deal for everyone. I'm not talking about what's best for you. That's the best deal for everyone. So, all right, for now, I am going to wrap this call up right now. Obviously, there's a lot more that I could dig into and tell you, but I'm a big fan of being brief, and I know in the middle of the week there's a lot of things that people have on their schedules. Once again, I thank you all very much for your time. We will do some concise recruiting calls that will be very time sensitive for people. I will have some recruiting videos that will come out, and I'll keep everybody informed, but take this seriously. The upside is tremendous here, and thank you all for participating. Have a wonderful evening. Good night now. Bye.